Yo, so story time. This is like an old story, I guess, like 7 weeks old or something. And I like complained about it at the time, so I'm like kind of over it. But like I thought it'd be good to talk about to the world as well. So yeah, think I'm gonna title this "Why I Changed My GP." So I'm just going to talk about a few of the things that kind of led me to do that. So first off, I wanted to get a diagnosis of gender dysphoria. I didn't have to. We have informed consent available at some providers in Sydney, where I live, in Australia, and a lot of other places around Australia as well. Informed consent is if you're over 18 or you're 18 and over, then your provider, probably a GP, will give you a form and you read over all of the effects of the hormone therapy that you'd be receiving, and they make sure you understand it and you sign the form and then you take it, which is great, because it's like, you need medication, great, here's what the medication does, you cool with that? Good, it's your body, your choice, right? Or if you're an adult, that's simple, informed consent's good. So so that was gonna be an option, but not everywhere does that. I didn't know where I was gonna go yet. And I felt like I could feel more like I needed a little bit of external validation, just because I doubted a lot. And so I wanted to see a psychiatrist. And also, so I had like a letter from the psych and an official diagnosis that I could use for anything else down the line. I haven't looked into that detail about other things that I'd need to do. So I thought I might need the letter from the psychiatrist to do that. So in order to go through the Medicare system, the system of healthcare that we have in Australia, which, we have healthcare here, unlike in the United States of America. Hopefully they get that soon when Biden wins the election. Hopefully that happens. It'll probably already happened once I post this video. Anyway, healthcare is good. So, and the psychiatrist I did end up seeing, he's great with stuff with like letters for gender dysphoria sort of acknowledgement or whatever. He puts that entirely onto Medicare, which means you don't have to pay anything. The government like pays him all up for that, which is awesome. But to go through that process, you get a referral from your GP. So I went to my GP, dressed up, not too much, but and I was like, hey, I need a referral to see a psychiatrist for gender dysphoria. And he was like, okay, great, who's the psychiatrist you want to see? I gave him the name, he wrote me a referral, and then I looked at it later and he wrote gender dysmorphia, that doesn't exist. That's not a condition, and it's not what I said. Like, and I was clear, like I said, gender dysphoria, and he was like, cool, gender dysmorphia. It's a different word, it sounds different. He's this uneducated in this kind of stuff, which is like, yeah, I mean, GPs should kind of know. Yeah, anyway, so that was pretty lame. For those who don't know the difference, gender dysphoria is like when you are uncomfortable with the gender that corresponds to your sex assigned at birth. So I was like, this whole like man thing ain't working. I don't feel good about it. How I got to that conclusion is a topic for another video. But yeah, like there was like a sense of unease. I think that's one of the differences, like a sense of unease with the gender that corresponds to your sex assigned at birth. Whereas body dysmorphia is where you're like, all the time you're like really concerned and like uncomfortable with like a specific part of your body, and you're like looking at it in the mirror all the time and you're like, oh, I wish this was different. One of the main differences between gender dysphoria and body dysmorphia is gender dysphoria can be cured. Like, it isn't for everyone and not straight away, but like transition is the treatment. It can be treated, sorry. Transition is it can be cured, yeah. Transition is the treatment for gender dysphoria, whereas not for body dysmorphia. For body dysmorphia, you can get like cosmetic surgery and whatever, but that isn't actually treatment for the condition. You need like counseling and stuff like that, and there's no cure. You can develop body dysmorphia via gender dysphoria, because if your gender dysphoria concerns your relationship with your body, or in your relationship to how others are perceiving your body, which for me was a bigger thing than my relationship to my own body, then that can cause body dysmorphia, which I'm pretty sure I don't have. Luckily, I just like, I'm watching, you know, like I'm looking, I'm like, let's see how this changes, let's see what goes on, you know, like I'm immensely really happy with myself. Yeah, so that's like bad that he got that wrong. So that was like the first thing. And then I wasn't gonna go there again. I was like, I'm already like so over this GP. But like I went to get a fitting for earplugs. It's one of the bands I play in. We wanted everyone to get fitted out with hearing protection because it's pretty noisy. I don't want to damage my ears. So I got hearing protection fitted. Well, I was going to, but I had too much earwax. I needed to see the GP to get the earwax removed. I won't go into the whole story, but I went to the GP and I was like, you know what? Basically, because it's on the way home from the city. This is where I was going to this place. It was like super convenient. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try to like have them refer to me by a different name. Because I was like, yeah, I was over that from like before, from my other videos talking about like that whole complication. So I was like, I went in and I was like, can I change some details like to the staff? And they're like, sure. And then I also need to change my address. And then I like added in like preferred name, right? And they're like, great. And then I went, and then I had my appointment and the doctor didn't use my preferred name. I was like, okay, maybe it's like still updating, whatever. So like I went online to book another appointment for like a follow-up for that on Health Engine. And I added my preferred name and then it was gone. Then I added it again and I got an email to my dead name. I added it again. I was like, that was all crap. Don't use Health Engine. HotDoc is a much better version of the same thing where it actually kept my preferred name. Anyway, I go back there and they're like, hi, dead name. And I'm like, I changed this. They're like, I was like, can you reuse my preferred name? And they're like, what is it? And I was like, well, I did this already. So then she asked me what it was. I said what it was. And she was like, the doctor will use that name. And he didn't. And then I went back a third time. And this staff person, she was like, sorry about it. And she was like, you know, hey Lillian, how you going? And I was like, yeah, great. You know, like that was really nice. But then the doctor, like I saw his screen and it was like dead name, you know, think whatever, I forgot what that's called, quotations, Lillian, and quotations, because that's the best you can do until you change it legally. And he was like looking at it and he just used my dead name again. And I was like, I don't want to explain to this man who doesn't understand what gender dysphoria is, anything about this. And so and so now the GP I'm going to for my hormones, I'm just going to go to her for everything, and she's lovely. And I told her about this and she was like, ugh, like that was her response, which is like perfect. The first thing, anyway, I didn't even tell her about the second part of it, but yeah, so it's better to see the same GP for everything, but she was a little further away and like it's not, it's a private practice, so I have to like pay a bit out of pocket for that, but it's worth it. So I went there and I just feel more comfortable with her. But yeah, so that's just like some of the shit, like it's not terrible. Like I've heard some horror stories about like trans people in healthcare. But this is just like, you just don't feel like, well, you know, I don't know, it's just not good, like, it's not great, but yeah, I mean, this place I'm at now, yeah, I recommend this place. It's really nice if you have a little bit of money and you're in the Sydney area. I think it's like Alice Street, medical practice or something, and yeah, like they like specialize in like, women's health and queer health, I think, and it just seems like a really nice place. And the other place was just like the local, like bulk billing place. So like it wasn't meant to be great, but also the doctor could like just be educated. You know, he's not a bad guy. I don't like him, but I'm sure he's not like a bad person. But he's clearly just not educated about these things. And yeah, so we should just be educating the medical community as a whole, so they just know what to do with us. Yeah, okay, that's it. Bye.